What up, Squinch? How's it going? Nice. Yeah, it's always good to have the Mistress project also, you know. Looks like Jimmy crawled away. Okay. Testing out some new stream music. Okay. If the music is too strong or anything, let me know and I can tweak it, because this is a new track I'm testing out. Levels look okay on my end, so. Sweet. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking. I like that. I like that it can kind of show all the files that are playing here. It's probably just too distracting though to have on the stream, huh? Kind of in the background there. I don't know if that's still too distracting. I don't know. I like that it kind of shows that it's the music is running live, so I kind of like that. Okay, let's get started. Wow, already been 7 minutes. Okay, well, yesterday we were working on the collision detection for our chasms. So we came to the conclusion that if we have 4 little corners to test collision, we can test first if only one corner is touching. If so, we're going to tween both our x and y value to the chasm x and y. If we are colliding with a corner and an adjacent corner, then we're just going to tween the appropriate singular value, which in this case would be x. So if we were right here, this would be a pure left collision. So it would drag us to the left and then drop us. And then, yeah, same would go for the bottom drag and the corner drag for. It depends, because it's like if we only collide with one of these collision detectors, then we're going to do a corner drag. But if we detect 2 adjacent corner collisions, then we're gonna drag whichever distance. I don't know if this will work, but we'll give it a shot. Okay. Yeah, let's give it a shot. Okay, so we defined these colliders here as kind of constants, but it's in our player class. So I think we have our chasm detection method on our player itself. So we'll try that. It's weird because I don't think we might define these functions here in the player class, but we don't actually run the functions here in the class. We would run it elsewhere in the map, probably. So let's find where we do that. We do check for entity collision here with our player. So we would probably have a similar, player to, not to entity, but to player to chasm update. Player to chasm collision. Okay, so we'll write the functions inside our player class. Yeah. So yeah, we define these variables. We can define it as soon as our player is updated, which I guess, we update our entity, which would give us a new X and Y position. So we should probably calculate these chasm collides after the entity's been updated. And then we can write the method here. I guess, no, we would write the method. Yeah, we'd have to write the method outside here. Well, let me think. We could pass in how would we do this? Because these values are calculated based on the player's position, so we can just define the function to update these when we give it the player. So the function just takes in a player and it'll spit out. It's hard because we need to, right now these are, these are global values. So when we run our collision detection, we would be in our map. Let me think. Yeah. We're in our map, so we'd cycle through the chasms and then run, we would do just like this, where we'd say in our player method, bottom left collides with chasm, then do something. So whether or not this collides, you know, I think the function we need will take in the player. It'll calculate this stuff. Because on any given frame, there's four of these values. No, the 4 values we separate out. Okay. So I'm thinking... Yeah, I think we move these down to the method level. So we'll define the method outside of the update here. And depending on which box we are, we use these different variables. Okay, this is looking right. So we'll have a function called chasm top left collide. And it's more so player top left collide with a chasm, but I think chasm top left collide means it's the top left collider for the chasm detection. So we know we need to take in a player here. So here's all our logic for our top left collision. Okay, so we've got the values to do AABB collision. So if this function returns a Boolean, then when we're in our map and actually cycling through which ones to run the collision on, we would do something like this. We'd have to cycle through the chasms, and then we would check if we collide like that. So it would be for key value in pairs of chasms. Cycle through all our chasms and then check the collision method for each. We would actually, we run it on the player. So we run it on the player that's in our scene here, and we run the chasm top left collide. And then the parameter we give it is actually... No, this is a little backwards. Okay, so the player has this method. Yeah, it wouldn't take in... How would we do it? Because we have to return whether or not any of our little bounding boxes are colliding with the chasm. So for right now, Come on. Come on. Okay, we can't render it because we define it. Okay. Let's say we still have these. Okay. Oh, come on, man. This is a mess. Okay. Okay, so we're cycling through all the chasm objects, right? So there's one at every tile here. Any empty tile is a chasm. And we're cycling through the chasms and we're checking if we collide with any of these bounding boxes that are right now being kind of attached to our player, but they're just defined in terms of our player. So as we run the method is on the player. Player top left chasm collides, which will return a boolean if the AABB collision is intersecting with a chasm tile. So when we run the method, player colon chasm top left collides, if it comes back true, it would mean that this defined quadrant for the top left is AABB colliding with the chasm tile here. So the method here should take in itself as a player. And that's how it knows how to calculate this chasm collide. It's a little messy because we're using these global variables and then we're kind of re-updating them down here. So I don't like that for the moment, but we could turn these into fields that we define on our player. But I guess it doesn't really matter. We have to figure out how we're going to run this method on our player. So player chasm top left collide. So when we go to run it, we need to give a specific chasm x and y to check for collision with. So yeah, so the value inside the parameter here takes in 2. Well, actually, we can define it. Okay, yeah. We don't have to pass the player in here. We can just pass the chasm, which would be v, the actual value of the chasm. And then we could here, we don't need self. We don't need to pass in self because this is a method running on the player. So it should have access to self. I'm thinking it does. So we can instead take in a chasm here as a parameter, and we calculate these values. I feel like we should turn these into fields. Well, it's weird because yeah, we could let's do that. I feel like I want to turn these into fields on the player, which means we'd have to Let's just try it with the global variables, and then maybe if we're still filling, we should switch it. Let's switch it. Okay, so we've got our 4 XY width and height for our collision detection. So let's, for right now, we'll just, what this method will do is it'll return true, but for right now, maybe what we do is just render our player red or something if we detect a collision, just so we can check and make sure it's working. So let's do the collision detection. I believe we should be able to, let me just try something where we say, we're going to calculate those values, we're going to return true. This is all to see if we can use the self without passing it in as a parameter. I think we should be able to do that. But if we're... yeah, as long as we run this function, we'll see if it crashes. Okay, it doesn't crash, so we should be able to get away with that. Okay, so let's do our AABB. We're going to check if the left side of our player is greater than the left side of our chasm. And the right side of us would have to be smaller than the right side of the chasm. Then we can check if the top of our player is greater than the top of our chasm, so beneath our chasm, but also the bottom of our player would have to be smaller than the bottom of our chasm. Is that right? Oh, okay. It's not our player, it's these. Yeah, we don't need our player, we need the bounding box. So the left side of us would be this. Top left collide X, and then this would be shoot, man. We would take the X plus the width. Then we'd check if the top of our bounding box is greater than the... This would be smaller than, right? Top of our box would have to be smaller than the bottom, smaller than the... Wait. Top of our bounding box would have to be beneath our chasm, and the bottom of our chasm would have to be smaller than the bottom of our This is nuts. Bottom of our bounding box would have to be smaller than the bottom of the chasm. Is that right? Got no idea. What I want to do is, before we render ourselves, I want to try changing the color of our player so we can kind of see if this is functioning properly. So let's try setting our color to red before rendering our entity. Since it's in our entity class, we're kind of doing it here. Shoot, man. Okay, it's in our state machine. Okay. We could just print something up on the screen. So let's maybe say let's just have a Boolean top left collide is false, and we'll set it to true if this function returns true. So we'll say we'll set this to true if our collision is detected, and we can say else reset it to false, else reset it to false, just to test. Okay. So let's print up this player top left collide Boolean and see if it's doing anything. So let's just... It's part of our player, so we should be able to... Okay, we do define it here in the player. So let's go to our map. Let's just try to put it right here. Okay. We're gonna put the players, which has a top left collide Boolean. Okay, so we're not colliding, not colliding. Okay, something's probably wrong here. Oh, shoot. We've got so many chasms. Oh my god, Jimmy is really just in front of the camera right now. Jimmy's right in front of the camera. This is an issue because our, we've got like 20 chasms, so we may not collide, by the time we may collide with one of them, we might be flushing that top left collide to be true. And then as soon as we get to the next chasm, we'd be overriding it because we're not colliding with that chasm. So it could be overriding it to false. So maybe what we can do instead is print up the value, and the value we can just increment if we're colliding, and then we can see if we're ever triggering that method. So we can see, instead of doing the top left collide in our player class, yeah, instead we can do top left collide is actually a number. And instead of doing this false false, we can instead just increment it. Okay, so let's see. Okay, still nothing. Now we only initialize it once, so it's probably safe to say we did this wrong, because if we just put it outside the method and just only increment it, let's see if it increments. It should now. Well, it doesn't. Okay. Are we not cycling through? Player to chasm. Oh, we aren't even running it. So let's try to run it. We should get increment without doing anything, yes. Then we should get... Let's try to do it only if a collision here. Let's try this. Okay, so far so good. Yeah. Okay, so this should be... That looks pretty good. So like this is the top left collision, right? So here is not a top left collision because our little green on the top left is not colliding with the chasm. But as soon as we peek into the realm of colliding with it, it does trigger. Cool. Okay, so top left looks pretty good. Now, do we like this method where we set global variables? Yeah, I mean, at the very least, they should be local, right? So let's rename it. They should at least be local. They should be a field on the player itself. I don't know. I feel like local is probably a best bet. So let's do chasm. This is so weird. Top left, collide, X. You know, we should make that better. Let's call it chasm, top left, okay, and then we'll just make it local. Okay. That's bad. Top left, we'll spell it out. Top left Y. Okay. Okay, let's make sure it works still. Should work. Cool. Okay, let's try our other methods now. I'm going to leave these as global just so we can render the boxes so we can test to make sure they're accurate. But we need a... And you know what? Before I get too far into this, I want to kind of look at our tween logic and make sure it would work with this structure. Because if we can't tween based on the result of this boolean, then we'll have like wasted our time. So I want to see where we're doing the tween for the pitfall. It is in our map, so we should be good there. Well, we don't tween here. Where do we tween? Okay, we do tween here in the map. Okay, this should be good. Yeah, this should be fine. Okay. Okay, top right collide. Let's snag the values. Then we'll localize the variables. Okay. See, and then, so this is why I did all this work yesterday, is like trying to reason out the AABB collision without visualizing the actual bounding boxes. The logic for that gets so complicated. So I'm glad we broke it down yesterday. Okay, so those should be our variables. So now we just have to do our collision detection. So we take in a chasm, top right collide, chasm, top right collide, yeah. Okay. So we're gonna check our bounding box. We're gonna make sure that the left side, man, see, now this is weird. It says top right, but it's the X of the X position of the top right bounding box. So it would be the left side of the top right. That's so jacked up. Okay, if the left side is greater than now we're always checking against our chasm. We're checking this is, I don't like that it's called chasm because it has everything to do with the player. Player top right X. Maybe we call these player just to simplify the reading of it. I don't know. Okay, we're checking the left side of our bounding box to be greater than the left side of our chasm, and the right side of our bounding box would have to be smaller than the right side of our chasm. Then, if the top of our chasm top of our bounding box would have to be beneath the chasm's top position, and the bottom of our bounding box would have to be smaller than the bottom of our chasm. And then we can say, okay, our top right collide, we're going to go increment. Okay. Then we're going to initialize a top right collide to 0. And then we're going to print up in our map the top right value. Let's try it. Okay. So as soon as this top right blue dot collides, we need to run it. So let's go to our map. We'll go to the chasm collision, and we'll just run the top right collide method on every chasm also. Okay. Nice. So yeah, it's looking right, because the top right, it's not until we touch the chasm does it increment like that. And this is not incrementing, but this is. Okay, it's looking right. Cool. All right, so top left and top right look right. Okay, so let's try to do it's in our player. Okay. Bottom left collide. Okay, so we're going to check our chasm's left position. If it's greater than the left side of our chasm and the right side of our bounding box would have to be smaller than the right side of the chasm. Then we take the top of our chasm, make sure it's bigger than the top of, the top right of, the top of our bounding box would have to be beneath our chasm, and the bottom of our bounding box would have to be smaller than the bottom of our chasm. Okay, if all that's true, we're going to take our bottom left collide and increment it. Now we need this variable still, so we will initialize it. Okay, bottom left collide gets incremented. Then in our map, we need to make sure to run this function as well on our chasm. And then when we print it up, we'll print the bottom left. Okay, let's try it. Okay, can't even see where we crashed. BL collide, BL collide. Chasm, bottom left collide, that looks right. BL collide. Chasm, bottom left collide. That all looks right, other than this. Okay. So we're looking for that bottom left green to increment the number in the top left there when we're colliding. You know, it should be a little sooner. Oh. Yeah, because look, here, it doesn't do it till it's like fully in. Are the others like that? Yeah. So it's not like, I mean, this is okay. This works out to our advantage, I think, because of the overlap. So like what I'm saying is like this square here is technically colliding with the tile here because it's over it. So we technically should be colliding right there, but it waits until we're like fully colliding with it, like all the way inside, which I think works to our benefit because of that little side edge and the narrowness of our feet. So I think that's okay. Okay, one more function to go. Okay, let's see if the bottom right is working. Yeah. It does wait till we're like fully in it though, because look at this. That should probably be a trigger, right? You know, should that be a trigger for our bottom right? Our foot's kind of dangling in there. Because the AABB we are calculating is like, are we all the way inside it, right? We're checking if the left side of our box is greater than the left side of the chasm, and the right side of our box is how would we do it differently? Because right now we're checking if the left side of our box would have to be greater than the left side of our chasm, which isn't... That means it's like fully inside the chasm and not just colliding. So maybe we just shift maybe instead of checking if the left side of us is fully inside it, we just add like 1 pixel difference on the X. Because I do like that it's like a little forgiving, but it should be a little more strict. So like we should check if, not if the left side of us is greater than the left side of the chasm. Yeah, let's add a 1 here, because that'll be half of the distance of the width of it, but then we're also checking if the right side of us is smaller than the right side of the chasm. So the right side of us minus 1 maybe. Let's see if that looks more forgiving on the X and Y of that was our bottom left, was it? Let's do it in the bottom right. So we subtract a 1 here from our X, and we add a 1 here. And if we like this, we can change this to the local declarations. Okay, bottom right. Oh, see, I would thought that would have been it, but it is not. Yeah, we screwed this up. We screwed up the true collision nature of it. So what we really should do is the right side of us would have to be bigger than the left side of the chasm. So that would be +2. And the left side of us would have to be smaller than the right side of the chasm. So that should get the proper X collision for this. Yeah, that looks right. Yeah. See, but I think that's too close. I would like it to be 1 more pixel of lenient, because that should be legal. That looks like we're barely walking on the edge, right? I don't think it should trigger a fall if we're standing exactly there. So let's only do, let's do a +1 here and a -1 here. And let's see if that's the difference we like. Yeah, so that's safe. But but that's danger. Okay. I think I like that. So what we can do, let's add +1 to the right X. Oh, well, we subtract or add it based on what we're calculating, so we can't really do any shortcuts like that. But we do need to fix the Y-word collision detection too. So we need to check not if the top of our box is greater than the top of our Y, but the bottom of us would have to be, so plus the height. The bottom of us would have to be bigger than the top, and the top of us would have to be smaller than the bottom of the chasm. And then we can give us that same lenience with the pixels just to be a little more forgiving than the true collision. Okay, so this should be the Y. Let's see if the Y looks right on bottom right. No, that should be safe, because look, it looks like we're on the ground there, so it should be safe. Let's forget about that and see. Okay, so that's safe. Yeah, that should probably be death. Well, that one shouldn't. See, like this? Yeah. Okay, so we need like one more pixel of lenience. So we would subtract 1 here, because we're seeing if the bottom of our bounding box, which we're shrinking by 1, would be greater than the top of the chasm, and then the top of our bounding box would have to be smaller than... No, this is wrong. Yeah, top of our bounding... Gosh. Bottom of our bounding box would have to be bigger than the top of the chasm. That makes sense. And then the bottom, or then the top of our bounding box would have to be smaller than the bottom of the chasm. That's true. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, that looks like a fall. Yeah, see, look. So that looks safe. We're on the last pixel before it would trigger pulling us down, and that would trigger us. Okay, that's looking right. That's looking right. Yep, that should probably be a fall. Okay, I like that. Okay, so we've got one example of it working. Let's just kind of make sure we do the rest the same. So, and then we'll test it. So, okay, let's test the bottom left collide. Okay. Okay. That looks about right. Oh. Okay. Yeah, it depends on where we round our player's position to, or if it's at a fractional Y position or something. I saw that it wasn't triggering and we had one toe in the pit, but it looks pretty stable. Yeah, so I guess the question is, should that trigger a corner fall? We're pretty, that looks pretty stable. But if you were... Oh, see, look, that shouldn't be it. Looks like our X is wrong. Because, yeah, this should be safe. Well, yeah, that should be safe. Our X looks incorrect. See, and I don't want to. We could just move this over by 1, but that moves over. That moves over the boxes that we're looking at for rendering. So I think it'll throw me off if we scoot it. So let's try to just maybe give us 2 pixels. Well, let me think. We might need to subtract an X here. Yeah, I think we might need to subtract an X because it's a left collision. Let's see. Okay, so that's safe. That looks safe. That looks like the last pixel safe. Yeah, and then we're triggering it there. Okay, that looks right. Yeah. Yeah, because we're barely safe here. Then we'd be triggering here. Okay. The other thing we'd have to do is make sure our adjacent ones are triggering corresponding with one another as well. So we have to make sure these values are the same and playing nice, because it needs to like perfectly line up so that we can trigger the orthogonal poles instead of the diagonal ones. Gosh, it's already 9. Okay, so bottom right, bottom left look fine. So if it's a right collision, we add. So let's do the right one first. We add a 1, and then we check. Okay, let's try this top right collide. I'm not so sure about this -1 on the height because we're checking. Because we would collide on the top of this. So we're trying to shrink. I think we want to add the 1. Top right collide. Let's get that rendering. That looks like the last pixel safe. Okay, top right collide. No, see that? Should trigger sooner. See, it's triggering too high. That looks to be it. Yeah, that looks to be it. Okay. Let's just see on the other side just to test. Not that you would pull a top right collide on this side, but it does look right. Okay, one more to go. Oops. What throws me off is like the tiny adjustments, right? So like the +1, -1, -1, -1, +1, -1, and they're all swapped depending on what orientation. So my brain is kind of like fried on which one goes where. But if we just mimic the function, and then we can do the +1s and stuff. So we know that this needs to be the chasm top left height added, and then we do math here on just the y. Okay, so for the additions here, the top left collide, we want to do the opposite of the top right collide, so we will shift 1 pixel to the left on that check. But then since it's both on the top, we also subtract the 1. No, that's still x. So plus on the x, but then we mimic the y with just a -1. And we can check if that's looking right. So top left collide in our map. Okay. Okay, top left collide, let's go for it. Yeah. Yeah, that looks right. Yeah, that looks exactly right to me. Okay. Okay. So now that might be right, let's check the adjacent matches. So let's do top left, bottom left. Now, I'm not too worried about these being the exact value, but they should be very close to the exact value of one another if we go for an adjacent collision, right? So if we go for an adjacent one, they're the same. That means they're triggering the same X position at the very least. But if we have a corner collision, like right here, the bottom one should hit, but the top shouldn't, which looks right. And then same with this one, which we can't test. We need another chasm because we can't really test. Oh, we can test it right here. No, we can't. Okay, so yeah, they do operate individually on the corners and together on the sides. So that looks good. Let's just walk around the clock. So that's the left side. Now we need top left and top right. So now here we want to check an upwards or downwards collision. So they should be matched here. Nice. So they look like they're triggering at the same Y position, which is good. But if we offset and just trigger one of them, oh, this is wrong. Top right top right should not be triggering here. Yeah, top right should not be triggering here. Yeah, see, top right should not be triggering there. We're clearly not colliding with the pit there. So, top right. I'm literally just going to swap the signs and see if that fixes it, because all the logic is worthless if it's an easy fix like that. Let's see, okay. Okay, there we go. That looks about right. Yeah. Okay, yep. That's looking right to me. Let's just check the Y position. Yeah. Let's check the Y position again on the verticals. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so those 4 sides are all in sync. Let's make sure we want to look at the top right and the bottom right. Top right, bottom right. So they should be perfectly matched on the orthogonal here, which they are not. Yeah, they're not. So which one triggers incorrectly? Let's see. Okay, so neither of them are triggering there, which is correct. And then there, top right is not triggering. So top right is incorrect. Okay, so top right, let's just switch the signs and hope that's the answer. Because it was only the Y that was, or only the X that was wrong there, so maybe just swapping the signs on the X. Okay, yeah. Cool, and then they can still trigger solo, bottom right only, or top right only. Yes. Okay, those 2 are looking right. So now let's do bottom right and bottom left. Okay, and we'll check the bottoms. They should be equal. Okay, nice. That looks right. And then they should also increment individually. Ooh, that's not right. Bottom right shouldn't be incrementing there. That means it's probably off on this side too. Yeah. Actually, the right side of it is correct. The left side is not. The right side of bottom right is right. The left side of bottom right is wrong. Yeah. So the left side of bottom right needs to be scooted over. So bottom right, the left side of this needs to be scooted over. I'm just going to swap the signs here. And let's see if that's right. So we'll check the bottoms first. Those look synced. Let's test just the left one. Nice. Yeah, and then one more pixel to the right. See, the bottom right should be triggering... Oh, actually, no, yeah. Okay, that looks right. That looks right. And then right should trigger one more pixel. Ooh, the right should trigger right here. Because, yeah, I think we said we allowed... Yeah, I think this is a trigger of fall. Yeah. So we need to scoot the bottom right. Shoot, why is that one off? We're not adding the height here. Or the width. Shouldn't we add the width? No, we don't do it. Okay, I feel like this is just a -1 then. No. Let's walk it through. So, like, we're on the bottom right bounding box. We're checking if the right side of the bounding box sucked in by a pixel is greater than the left side of the chasm. Yeah. And the yeah, this is wrong. This is wrong. Okay, that looks right. Okay, so now do the top and bottom go the same time? Yes. Okay, now what about the left? See, that's too soon. Okay, so okay, we need to check the top right, compare it to the top right compared to the bottom right, and see what's different. Because if the top right really was correct, we should be able to mimic the X position on the bottom right. So we add 1, we subtract 1, yeah. And then, yeah, it's the same one. Okay, so that must mean our top right is wrong too then. Let's try doing our top right, bottom right again. Okay, top right and bottom right. See that? That triggers... Oh, yeah, that is wrong. Yeah, that is wrong. They're both wrong. Shit. Top right and bottom right. Yeah, these shouldn't collide. We need to swap the signs on these. Top right and bottom right. But they're both wrong? Top right and bottom right are both wrong on the X on the left side. Those look right. But on the left side, top right, bottom right, it should be triggering there, but not... Oh, see, I was looking at the wrong pixels. Okay. Yeah, so the blues are what we're looking at. We're looking for 1 pixel overlap with this kind of ground level here, right there. So that should be not a fall, but 1 more pixel over. So we need to shift our hitboxes on our right ones. We need to shift the left side of our hitbox to be negative on both right ones. Let's see. Come on, dude. Come on. Okay. So top right and bottom right, we need to shift this. I think this needs to be negative. And the top right needs to be negative. Okay, let's try that. It's still off. Yeah, it should be... Yeah, it shouldn't be triggering there. That's not a fall, right? That looks like we're barely on the ground. So I think we might need to subtract one more from the left side. We're seeing if the left side of our bounding box is greater than... This is the wrong side. Shit, this is the wrong side. Okay, top right, let's do a -1. Top right, -1, bottom left, -1. Oh my god. Okay, I think it's this one right here. We don't need to... Yeah, because this is the left side of the chasm. So it's the right side of the chasm, but the left side of our player. Instead of the +1, we might need the -1 here. Both on the bottom... Not on the bottom left, on the bottom right. And the top right. Okay. So we might need -2 here on the bottom right and the top right. Let's see, bottom right and top right, -2. Let's see. No, that's even worse. So do we minus nothing? Top right and bottom right. We're just seeing if the left side of our box is smaller than the width. If they overlap at all. See, the +1 seemed right to me, logically, but... Oh. See, look, we're on the floor. 1 pixel overlap is allowed, so this shouldn't be a fall just yet, or should it? This is even more jacked up because of the perspective. See right here, it's triggering a top right collision even though we look solidly on the floor. So we probably need to scoot down our bounding box for the higher ups. I think we do. Okay, but I'm still not happy with how they're triggering on the bottom right, top right. So, let's see. That should be a fall because they're 2 pixels overlapped. So that should be a fall. So the left side of our bounding box would have to be smaller than the right of the chasm, and then the right of our bounding box, shifted inwards by 1, would have to be bigger than the chasm X. So for the... Goddamn. Bottom right collide. Yeah, we're checking if the left side of us is smaller than... Oh, we're doing greater. Why are we doing greater first? This would be the right side of us, which is a width of 2. But if we do the right side of us, we'd have to be greater than the left of that. Man, the +1 is right, because... Yeah, that's 1 pixel. Okay, so at the bottom right, let's test the bottom right. Okay, it should collide. Yeah, it should collide right there. But it doesn't. It only collides right there. That should be a... Oh, it does. Bottom right does. Okay. Okay, so let's match the X on the top right for that. It's a +1. So top right gets a +1. Okay, now let's check the left side of those. Okay, that's triggering it. That's safe. That's triggering it. That's fair. Okay. That looks right. But then when we go to check the other side of it, we're checking the left side of us to be smaller than the width. We would just have to overlap at all with the width. That's that 1 pixel overlap. I think that's okay. 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 So let's check our bottom right, bottom left, and see if those are looking good. It'd be in our map. Bottom right, bottom left. Okay. Okay, so they should stick together for vertical. Cool, and then individually, yeah, bottom left only and bottom right only. Okay. So now is the detection good for them? So at the bottom right, we should have 1 pixel overlap. See, it should be triggering right there. Didn't we just test that and it was working with the bottom right? Then the bottom left can do, see, that's safe. And that's a fall. Okay, so bottom left looks good. Bottom right needs to trigger. Actually, no, that I think that is right, actually. Yeah, that is right. Yeah, 1 pixel overlap is fine. 2 is not. So here, we do need to adjust the left side of our bottom right, because this should be safe. I don't know, that looks pretty dangerous. He looks like he's walking on the edge there. That should probably trigger a fall, huh? That's weird, it looks better, because this 1 pixel of overlap looks fine. But 1 pixel of overlap on this side. Oh, it's because it's... Okay, no, this should be right. Let's try the top left, top left, bottom left, and see how that looks, because we're not going to trigger a right collision on the left side. God damn. I think it's okay. I think if we do bottom right with top left, let's check this, because this is the one that's really going to trigger that left fall. So that's safe, which it should be, but then 1 more pixel over, danger. Yeah, that looks right. And then they trigger individually, bottom left and top left. That's looking right. Okay, I think the only thing that's left is to shift these top down, because right here it's treating this as if this is a top collision, which we have our here. Yeah, it's treating it, it thinks that we're colliding with the chasm up here, even though our player's feet are standing down here. So we should scoot these pixels down so that they're basically touching here. We need to scoot them down so that we only trigger a top collision if somewhere closer to our feet collides. because right here, this is saying we should be dragged to the top left and fall into the pit, and it looks like we're perfectly safe here. So let's scoot it down by 2 pixels. Yeah, let's scoot it down by 2 pixels and see if that looks better. So, oops. Okay, so in our player, yeah, so we need our top left and top right. We are going to scoot it down by 2, so this is going to be a +9 instead of a +7. Oops. Let's try that. And this will just be how it looks, not how the logic works. So they are scooted down closer. That looks about right. So does it look like this would trigger a fall into the pit if we're standing right here? Because that's technically colliding. We look barely safe. So let's try to scoot it down one more. So instead of a +9, a +10. They'll be all touching. Yeah. But that should be a fall. That looks about right. That should probably not be a fall, and they're not colliding. Okay. Oh, top left is colliding, so we need to... Oh, yeah. Okay, so instead of a +7, we do a +10 on the Y. So let's do that. Yeah, so instead of the +7 here for the top collisions, we'll do a +10. Okay, and that should fix it. Okay, so now we're doing our bottom left and top left. So let's do our top left and top right. Okay. So they should trigger the same on verticals, which they look like they are. And then they should only trigger if our feet get closer. We're safe here. And that looks about to be the last pixel of safe, right? If we get there, that should probably be a fall. Yeah. Because, you know, we have to call at some point. Like, that's getting too close to the edge. So that'll be the trigger. Okay. Okay. I think I'm going to call it a night because it's been a long 2-hour session already. So it looks like collision is worked out for the chasms. And we are running the collision detection for every chasm there is. So now all that's left to do is kind of do the arithmetic of which ones collide, right? So like if only the bottom right collides, here let's get them all on screen here. So top left, top right, and then we'll do bottom left, bottom right. Okay. So what we have to do is check each one of these, because even though it doesn't look like this is 4 bounding boxes for collision, they're stacked on top of one another. So there's 4. This is top right, top left, bottom right. So if just the bottom right collides with a chasm, which would be like right there, right? Yeah. It's hard to this is a bad square to test it on because we have to imagine the ground floor extending 2 more pixels. So that would be a bottom right collision. That looks right. This is a bottom left collision. That looks right. This would be a top left collision. That looks... Oh! Top right. Not a top left. Maybe we swapped them. Let's see. No, we're missing... That should be a top left. Why is top left not triggering there? Top left, top right, bottom right. Okay, our top left is wrong for some reason. See, they both trigger here, yet... Okay, they both trigger. Then if I scoot... Oh, why does that happen? Why would top left not be factored in right there? Okay, let's try to fix that. Okay, we'll do top left and bottom left and see if they're triggering on the left side the same. Top left, bottom left. Okay, so they should be equal here. Okay, so the X position looks fine, so let's try top left and top right. Okay, the verticals should match here, which they do. Only the right, only the left. Why do we stop here? The left. Yeah, we should trigger a top left one here. We definitely should trigger a top left collision here because we do right here. That is weird. Why does that change? Oh, I think it might have to do... Shoot. It might have to do with the overlap of the tiles, right? Because we're checking it on a per tile basis. And we give it a little bit of lenience to account for the ground here. So there's a 2 pixel dead zone where... it's not counting the top left collision. Shoot. Yeah, there's a little bit of a dead zone. Maybe that's okay. Because once this is drawn... Yeah, because once we draw the proper floor for these tiles, we'll have what looks to be a bigger place to stand on. And the top left is triggering there. Okay, I think that's safe. I think that's safe. We'll have to keep an eye on it when we draw the rest of the tiles with the proper floor curls, because we need a corner ground. I don't know what you call it, but like it's like the ground, the edge before the chasm. So we might be okay there still. We touched only our map and our player. And if we look at our get diff, we wrote these 4 collision functions for the chasm colliders. Now that I'm thinking about it, we probably could have gotten away with... No, I think it's okay, because depending on what side, we need different collision logic. So we added this bottom collide just to test if the function was working. Yeah, we just added our collision detection for the chasms and our player. And we're running it on every chasm, checking collision with every one of our colliders, which is a bit overkill, but I couldn't figure out how to do it better. We'll say that this is what we added. quadrants, added quadrant, chasm, collision, detection upon player. Cool. So tomorrow we will draw more accurate chasms with the edge and see if the triggers are looking appropriate still, and then we'll worry about the logic where if only one corner is triggered, we tween both the X and Y, and if two adjacent edges are triggered, then we just tween the value towards those two edges so that we only pull us downwards or left, or if it's only a corner, it would tween both the X and the Y. So that's what tomorrow's going to be, I'm thinking. But yeah, we'll raid out here. Let's see. We'll see if is Brightside coding. Yeah, we'll raid Brightside because he's working on his game, and we'll call it a night. Oh, thanks for hanging, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow, and hope everyone has a good night.